Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 origin continent based on novel. So let's start. One of my teams has been completely wiped out, not a single one managed to escape, said one of the 9 Frost Soul Watchers with a terrifying aura. The strength of these cultivators is relatively strong this time. The homeland has been attacked, and I have already reported it. I believe that leaders are already tracking them down. There is an enormous quantity of low-level primordial life. If it is just the outermost perimeter being attacked, they won't care too much, because the outer range is too vast, and hunting down those cultivators would be too difficult. But an attack on the homeland, the low-level primordial life groups would quickly dispatch forces from all directions to hunt them down. These cultivators, with their small numbers and weak strength. If it weren't for city sanctuaries protecting them, we would have devoured them all by now. They can hide within their cities, occasionally coming out to launch sneak attacks. These Frost Soul Watchers were quite discontent. In terms of overall strength, low-level primordial life are much stronger than cultivators. But one side has the protection of cities, where they can safely cultivate and draw sustenance from them to their heart's content. It will be comfortable once we breach another city. Then we can devour those cultivators to our heart's content. Yes, I heard that after the last attack on Beiyang City, our kin in the vicinity of Beiyang City had a feast on the cultivators that are rarely seen. There were several 100 million of them in the city. It's a pity that breaching a city is too difficult. The 9 Rivers Sacred Realms 35 cities require merit to apply for construction, and the cities are exchanged for the tremendous city secret treasures using merit, along with joint control by hall masters and elders, making them extremely secure. Even with their powerful strength, the low-level primordial life find it difficult to breach cities head-on. Only with internal and external collusion is there hope of breaching a city. Every breach of a city is a horrifying catastrophe for the city. Senior Yuan and the others established the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm as a place to temper the younger generation. They already made arrangements favoring cultivators. If even under these circumstances the cities of cultivators are breached, it would only mean the cultivators themselves are too incompetent. Huff. The 9 Frost Soul Watchers were casually chatting, and at the same time flying at super high speed atop clouds, patrolling in all directions. Primordial Wild Hoof Leader, a late-stage Divine Emperor Blood Demon Elisai, and 15 middle-stage Divine Emperor Frost Soul Watchers have been killed in your territory. It is suspected that an elder has entered the homeland to start hunting. A message was conveyed. Understood. A terrifying thunder burst forth from the vast river, bathed in thunder and began to patrol its territory immediately. The elder hunting area is very close to the 9 rivers. Coming to hunt in my territory. The terrifying figure within the thunder traversed the void at incredible speed. The vast territory surrounding Yulon City is home to low-level primordial life of many species, among which the primordial Wild Hoof clan is a species with fewer numbers, but generally strong individuals. Within the territory surrounding Yulon City, there is only one of the primordial Wild Hoof clan who has achieved Divine Emperor Perfection, who naturally is also the clan leader. Divine Emperor Perfection level low-level primordial life are still very rare. For a species as numerous as the Frost Soul Watchers, in the vicinity of Yulon City, there may be several at the Divine Emperor Perfection level. But for the vast majority of species, there may be only one at the Divine Emperor Perfection level, or perhaps none at all. The so-called Elder Hunting Area, within the homeland of low-level primordial life, is divided into territories overseen by leaders. This is the greatest danger of elder hunting. After all, these low-level primordial life also possess high intelligence. They would not foolishly allow themselves to be hunted. To kill one in the homeland would trigger a pursuit. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Inside the black flying boat. We've killed 15 middle-stage Divine Emperor Frost Soul Watchers, none of them escaped, Emperor Qing said excitedly. By value, this team of Frost Soul Watchers is slightly more valuable than the previous Blood Demon Elisai. Luo Feng nodded. A late-stage Divine Emperor Blood Demon Elisai has an extremely high poison value, so its corpse can sell for around 150 million primordial crystals, considering its merit points worth about 10 million merit points. So the total price is about 160 million primordial crystals. The 15 Frost Soul Watchers, including merit, should be able to sell for around 190 million primordial crystals. We can almost return now, said Luo Feng. My original plan was to return after hunting 2 late-stage Divine Emperor prey. Now we're about there. We should be more cautious, Emperor Qing agreed. The Elder Hunting Area is the homeland of the low-level primordial life activity range. There are too many powerful beings. They encountered prey twice. Once was a late-stage Divine Emperor Blood Demon Elisai, and the other time was a team of Frost Soul Watchers. This indicates that in the homeland region, the number of low-level primordial life and their strength are vast. Huff. After deciding, Emperor Qing immediately drove the black flying boat, carefully starting the return journey towards Yulon City. Luo Feng observed the surrounding area. My strength is still a little too dangerous in the Elder Hunting Area, thought Luo Feng to himself. The elders occasionally dare to come, partly because they are avatars, and also do not bring Undying Heart Palm World and such extremely precious treasures. So even if an avatar perishes, it wouldn't be a big loss. Luo Feng, carrying 2 treasures, was naturally more careful. When my strength advances further, it will be suitable to frequently come to hunt in the homeland, contemplated Luo Feng. If his life and death Dao advances further, reaching the middle stage of Divine Emperor. As the Dao of Fusion, the middle stage life and death Dao of Divine Emperor should be comparable to the perfect level of a common Dao. At that time, his strength should be considered at the level of a Hall Master. As long as he didn't venture into the inner parts of the 9 rivers, his safety would be relatively high. However, it has been 900 epochs since I arrived in Yulon City, and my life and death Dao has only just reached the early stage of Divine Emperor. To reach the middle stage of Divine Emperor, I will face even greater obstacles, and it's expected to take a considerable amount of time, Luo Feng pondered. His current cultivation was going smoothly, without encountering any bottlenecks. Some cultivators were stuck at bottlenecks, unable to make any further progress. That was real suffering. I should do as Senior Yuan and the others said, it's best not to look at other cultivators' inheritances and rely solely on my own exploration, making each step solid enough, Luo Feng thought, having not purchased any half-primordial inheritance thus far. Like a blank slate, looking at other cultivators' inheritances would only contaminate my path. Reliance on self-exploration. My every gain stems from a clear understanding of the essence, making it solid. Luo Feng is really too strong. As Luo Feng pondered his cultivation, Emperor Qing, who was next to him, was still shocked by the gains from this venture. To have such a harvest just from visiting the Elder Hunting Area, he must be considered one of the stronger elders by now. At this rate, won't it be a short time until he reaches the level of the 3 Hall Masters? Emperor Qing thought, perhaps the entire structure of Yulon City will change because of Brother Luo Feng. No, with Brother Luo Feng's talent, he might not even regard Yulon City highly. Emperor Qing's emotions were complex. In his eyes, the 3 high and mighty Hall Masters of Yulon City may not hold much importance to Brother Luo Feng. Who? Each lost in their own thoughts, the black flying boat sped through the sky at an incredibly high speed. Suddenly, in the distance, a terrifying bolt of lightning appeared, looking towards them from afar. Luo Feng and Emperor Qing both were startled and dared not be distracted by other thoughts. It is. Emperor Qing couldn't believe what he was seeing, a fearsome bolt of lightning in the distance. The sheer terror of its presence, even from a great distance, gave Emperor Qing a chill. It was an aura far surpassing that of Blood Demon Elisai. Luo Feng also stared into the distance. Instinctively, a strong sense of threat warned Luo Feng, making his soul tremble. Primordial Wildhoof Clan, an existence at Divine Emperor perfection level, Luo Feng's soul shuddered at the terrible aura, without a doubt of it being at Divine Emperor perfection level. It must be the leader of the Primordial Wildhoof Clan. As a rare species in the vicinity of Yulon City, there should be only one at the level of Divine Emperor perfection. Naturally, it would be the leader. The primordial wild hoof, at first glance, is entirely black, but upon closer inspection, it faintly radiates a deep blue hue. Its huge body is covered with layers of scale armor, and on both sides of its head are sharply curved horns. Its eyes, full of lightning, looked at Luo Feng and Emperor Qing, causing a tremor in their hearts. Brother Luo Feng, Emperor Qing knew something bad was happening. You go hide first. I'll have to find a way to escape. Luo Feng quickly stowed Emperor Qing away, as well as the black flying boat. Luo Feng had no thoughts of defeating the opponent. His intention was to escape. Divine Emperor perfection level, and it's a member of the primordial Wild Hoof clan. Luo Feng knew this was the gravest threat he had faced since he arrived in the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm. There are many races among the low-level primordial life, each with different talents. Frost Soul Watchers were jack of all trades, but master of none. Blood Demon Elisai specialized in stealth and poison, but its capability in direct combat was average. Primordial Wild Hoof was different. Its racial talent was incredibly powerful. Among beings of the same level, it was considered an extremely strong existence. In terms of physical body, among the same low-level primordial lives, it was undoubtedly one of the most terrifying. The three Hall Masters had once killed Divine Emperor Perfection low-level primordial lives one-on-one. But on one hand, all three Hall Masters possessed sufficiently powerful treasures, and on the other hand, they had encountered their opponents. If they encountered a Divine Emperor Perfection level primordial Wild Hoof, even the three Hall Masters would probably be helpless. You dare to hunt in my territory? A deep voice echoed across the vast expanse of the void, as the primordial Wild Hoof leader coldly watched Luo Feng. You are a newly promoted elder of Yulon City. Your avatar will not be making an escape. The words had hardly fallen. Boom. The surrounding vast void suddenly solidified into terrifying green lightning, which struck directly at Luo Feng. Sir the Noelfire.nt website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The lightning came too fast, leaving Luo Feng no chance to dodge. Bang! The lightning struck Luo Feng directly. In Luo Feng's body, the presence of the Undying Heart greatly enhanced the resilience and defensive capabilities of the Undying Blood Sea body, giving it an undying quality. Now, having taken this hit from the fearsome lightning, Luo Feng was somewhat dazed, but his body managed to withstand it. The Undying Heart truly lives up to its name. So resilient, Luo Feng breathed a sigh of relief. Being able to withstand the lightning strike meant there was still a possibility to escape. Huh! The distant primordial Wild Hoof leader was slightly surprised, and then it made its move. Boom! With its movement, bathed in lightning, its terrifying figure spanned heaven and earth in an instant, ripping through the sky. Its mere aftershock caused billions of miles of the surrounding space to begin fracturing layer by layer, allowing a glimpse of the outermost, blurry shadows of the secret patterns. Under a twisted and torn sky, Luo Feng tried his best to dodge, but the terrifying figure had already reached him. Boom! Too ferocious. Luo Feng desperately tried to dodge, but he was still grazed by the massive frame of the primordial Wild Hoof leader. It was just a graze, and Luo Feng felt a terrifying force ravaging his entire body. His physical body, which had more than 1,000 times the perfect divine body energy reserve, and was fortified by the Undying Heart, had its defensive abilities soared dramatically. The secret treasure, Undying Heart, only multiplies power and other aspects by a few times. Even a more powerful half-primordial level secret treasure could achieve this level. But its greatest strength lies in the two words undying. Combining the mysteries of life and destruction, its ability to preserve life is naturally extremely strong. Boom! Luo Feng was grazed and instantly sent flying backward. However, his body remained intact, with no injuries. The ferociously charging primordial Wild Hoof leader, however, slightly turned its head, continuously keeping a firm gaze on Luo Feng. When it noticed that Luo Feng had withstood its graze, there was a flash of excitement in its eyes. Its hoof claws were as fast as lightning, and stomped out fiercely. The hoof claw, infused with thunder, stomped out from up close. Luo Feng had no time to react and was struck by the hoof claw. The hoof claw was too massive. Luo Feng appeared far too small in comparison. Bang! The trampling hoof claw, more than 10 times more ferocious than the previous graze, had a terrifying force that shocked Luo Feng. His undying blood sea body could no longer withstand it, unable to maintain the physical form. With this trampling, Luo Feng could only burst open by going with the momentum, turning into an endless blood sea. Only by turning into a blood sea could he unload as much of the terrifying trampling force as possible. Even with the blessing of the undying heart, I can't withstand the trampling of the primordial wild hoof. Luo Feng was shocked, but it was within his expectations. This race was known as Primordial Wild Hoof Clan, because their trampling was their most dreadful move. With a physical body that is top tier within its level, the trampling of the primordial wild hoof reached an unbelievable level of might. The trampling might of a late-stage Divine Emperor primordial wild hoof can reach the threshold of the enlightened at Divine Emperor perfection. Divine Emperor perfection. Under such trampling might, the undying blood sea body would be forced to burst open, unable to maintain its physical body form. With Luo Feng's strength, also possessing the undying heart and palm world, he should generally be able to preserve his life with relative ease, even when encountering a low-level primordial life at Divine Emperor perfection. However, he encountered the primordial wild hoof leader. He actually withstood my trampling. The primordial wild hoof leader was somewhat surprised. In Yulon City, only 3 hall masters could stand up to it in a direct fight. Ordinary elders dare not resist it head-on, only trying to escape for their lives with various secret techniques. The vast, boundless endless blood sea, within which were the undying heart, and Shenqing sky annihilation map both bolstering it, made the defense and resilience of the blood sea extremely strong. With the vastness and resilience of my undying blood sea body, one trampling consumed 2% of my energy reserve. Luo Feng was astonished. *E the novel, F.I.et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Whoosh! While still astonished, Luo Feng also took action. A furry claw suddenly extended from the blood sea without any warning, and when it extended, it was already beneath the abdomen of the primordial wild hoof leader. Rip! Luo Feng, understanding the principle of life and death, fully activated the lethal move of the innate secret treasure palm world. Luo Feng didn't use it to suppress with a world, knowing it would be futile. What he utilized was the tearing and destructive power of the claw. The claw was exceedingly sharp. Fortified by the power of the undying blood sea body, and driving the secret patterns within the claw, it was Luo Feng's strongest strike. Luo Feng even believed that such a strike might pose a substantial threat to a half-primordial level powerhouse. This claw, suddenly extending from the blood sea, was too sudden and fast. The massive primordial wild hoof leader didn't even have the chance to dodge, or perhaps it simply disdained to avoid the move. Slash! Luo Feng felt his claw, with 5 knife-sharp fingertips, penetrate the shallow white scale armor of the primordial wild hoof leader's abdomen. According to the materials from some corpses in the 9 Rivers sacred realm, the scale armor of the Abyss Wild Hoof clan generally had hundreds of layers. SSS. Luo Feng's all-out effort with one claw managed to barely pierce and penetrate 2 layers of scale armor. It has layers, and I only managed to pierce 2 despite going all out. At this moment, Luo Feng finally understood what it meant for its physical body to be one of the top amongst those born as primordial life forms of the low-level primordial life clans. Suddenly taking this claw, the primordial wild hoof leader was somewhat surprised, its surface scale armor showing slight cracks. The formless thunder flowed, naturally restoring the cracked scale armor. Roar! The primordial wild hoof leader suddenly let out a roar. This roar. It was like thunder rumbling, the sound impacting in all directions, causing the endless blood sea to roll and shake, and even the surface of the blood sea was obliterated by the shockwaves. The roar also impacted Luo Feng's spiritual will. Of course, after reaching the early stage of Divine Emperor in the Life and Death Tao, Luo Feng's spiritual will naturally climbed to Divine Emperor perfection level, although not at its extreme. But with such a level of spiritual will, plus the Lai Yuan technique and the bolstering of the undying heart, it could still withstand the impact of this roar. Boom, boom, boom. As the roar echoed, the primordial wild hoof leader started to charge, and every hoof claw trampled fiercely upon the endless blood sea. Although the might of the trampling now was not as powerful as the originally charged hoof claw, now it was a continuous trampling, with about 50 to 60% of the previous force. But it was a relentless assault. Rumbling tilde tilde tilde, this entire world trembled and shattered, with phantom secret patterns of the 9 rivers' sacred realms' sealing chains appearing. Under the relentless trampling of the primordial wild hoof leader, the energy of Luo Feng's endless blood sea was swiftly depleting. In a few moments, 30% was consumed. Blood sea, heaven and earth. Suddenly, the entire blood sea unleashed its might, a blood-red haze shrouding heaven and earth. At this moment, it was hard to distinguish directions, as the world of blood had already started to transform into the Xianqing sky. Trapped within the Xianqing sky, the primordial wild hoof leader could not see anything beyond it. Quick, escape! The moment Luo Feng utilized a part of the blood sea to evolve into the Xianqing sky and trap the primordial wild hoof leader, he hesitated not, immediately splitting into 3 avatars. Each of the 3 avatars employed secret techniques, their speed skyrocketing to the ultimate limit, fleeing in different directions. HMPH. The primordial wild hoof leader let out a cold snort, its form suddenly expanding massively, almost becoming half the size of the entire Xianqing sky. Its gigantic head, with 2 horn-like blades, began to move. Ripping sound. Everything was being cut by the 2 blade-like horns. Even the Xianqing sky was being sliced apart by this terrifying force. The Xianqing sky shattered. The vision of the primordial wild hoof leader penetrated the void, instantly locking onto the 3 escaping avatars. Escape! The primordial wild hoof leader raged uncontrollably. Boom, boom, boom. 3 immensely powerful bolts of thunder coalesced in the heavens and earth, each bolt of thunder homing in on the 3 avatars of Luo Feng, who had fled to extreme distances. The avatars were struck by the sudden lightning, 2 of them unable to withstand, directly obliterated. Only 1 avatar survived the thunder and escaped even faster. Swoosh! That soul-escaping avatar suddenly commandeered a flying boat, fleeing at an even more rapid pace. The primordial wild hoof leader opened its mouth wide, spewing out thunder plasma, the thunder rampaging in all directions, annihilating the surrounding blood sea that had trapped it beneath its might. This blood sea accounted for perhaps 1/10 of Luo Feng's energy reserve. Under the relentless, powerful strike of the primordial wild hoof leader, it too was completely annihilated. Beneath the thunder, the blood sea ceased to exist. Leave a weaker avatar behind. The primordial wild hoof leader burst forth fiercely, rapidly pursuing the avatar that was commandeering the flying boat. Luo Feng swiftly fled, commandeering the flying boat. However, the primordial wild hoof leader locked onto his aura from afar and relentlessly pursued. The primordial wild hoof leader was too fast, transforming into thunder, tracing its route, and caught up entirely in just over 10 breaths' time. Can't escape. Luo Feng, commanding the flying boat, watched the scene unfold before him. Die. The hoof of the primordial wild hoof leader already shrouded him. It's over. Luo Feng watched powerlessly at this scene. At the site where the primordial wild hoof leader and Luo Feng had just begun their battle, the chaotic world gradually returned to calm, with the energies between heaven and earth also slowly recovering. Suddenly, an endless stream of energy between heaven and earth abruptly converged, transforming into the form of a human male, none other than Luo Feng. Luo Feng, with the aid of the secret treasure Undying Heart, could enter the state of between life and death. The Undying Heart, encapsulating the mysteries of both life and destruction, possessed extremely strong life-saving capabilities. Like those proficient in the life path, even if blasted into nothingness, they could still spiritually regenerate from oblivion, partially restoring their life form. Utilizing the Undying Heart, when Luo Feng was attacked into nothingness, he seamlessly transformed a greater part of the blood sea into nothingness, merging the energy into the world. He could thus maintain this state for a short duration. After a period, he would restore his life form. Maintaining the state of neither life nor death, which Luo Feng termed between life and death, in this state, his own energy truly transformed into nothingness, only his spiritual will merging with the world. This is the weakness. If the enemy was strong enough to sense Luo Feng's spiritual will, they would not be deceived. Luo Feng's spiritual will, with the aid of the undying heart, perfectly concealed all signs of life, remaining in a state of neither life nor death, enduring. This lasted for 10 breaths' time. Afterwards, he would revive once more from nothingness into a life form. Finally deceived that primordial wild hoof leader. Luo Feng immediately released the void netherworld pupil ship, commandeered the ship, and vanished into the crevices of the void in an instant, disappearing without a trace with astounding speed. The speed of the void netherworld pupil ship was far faster than the other avatar that controlled the water drop flying boat. Ripping sound. As the avatar was completely pulverized by the hoof claw, the primordial wild hoof leader looked at the remaining water drop flying boat with confusion, lightly nudged it, carefully examining the interior of the flying boat. The inside of the flying boat was also empty, devoid of treasures. Just a divine emperor late-stage flying boat, and no other treasures. Not even the corpse of a low-level primordial life slain. The primordial wild hoof leader realized at this moment, he still escaped. These cultivators, too cunning. None of the elders it met could withstand a few of its blows head-on, but with all manner of bizarre secret techniques and escapes, some could still save their lives. This video will end here.